The sun dipped low over the endless sands of Vera, painting the sky in shades of gold and red. Dust swirled across the colony, carried by the warm wind. Commander Arik Vale stood atop the main observation platform, watching the horizon. The desert planet had been harsh and unforgiving, but this was home now, and Arik had made it a safe place for the settlers. They were human, far from Earth, carving out a life in the emptiness of space. For months, the colony had lived quietly. The machines hummed steadily, and the small group of humans had grown used to the rhythm of life on Vera. But peace was fragile here. A single mistake, a single miscalculation, and the colony could collapse. That was why Arik was always alert, always watching. A sudden flash of light on the horizon caught his attention. It was unlike the usual glare of the sun reflecting off sand. Squinting, he could make out the outline of a small ship descending slowly from the sky. Its shape was sleek, almost elegant, with curves that no human craft had ever mastered. The colony's sensors had not detected it in advance, which set Arik's mind racing. "Commander Vale," called Lieutenant Rhea, joining him on the platform. Her dark eyes were wide with concern. "We're seeing something unusual. A ship, it's landing near the eastern ridge." Arik's jaw tightened. "Keep the security drones ready. I want all observation points active. Nobody approaches that ship without my order." As the ship touched down, the landing caused a small tremor in the sand. The hull glimmered under Vera's twin suns, and the hatch opened slowly. A figure stepped out, her movements graceful, almost floating. She was human in appearance but carried an aura of something otherworldly. Her hair shone like silver in the sunlight, and her eyes reflected colors that seemed impossible for a normal human. Arik felt a chill run down his spine. Something about her presence unsettled him. He had trained for threats, fought enemies on distant planets, and faced dangers that could kill without warning. Yet this woman, whatever she was, made him feel cautious in a way he had not felt before. The colonists began to gather at a safe distance. Whispers spread like wildfire. Who was she? Where did she come from? Did she mean harm? Arik's heart told him to act, to prepare for a confrontation. But something in her stance, the calmness in her movements, suggested she was not here to attack. Elara, as she would later introduce herself, raised a hand in a gesture of peace. Her voice was soft but carried clearly across the sand. "I mean no harm," she said. "I come seeking your help, and I hope to offer mine in return." Arik's hand hovered near his sidearm. "You expect me to believe that? You show up unannounced, on a human colony, and you say you come in peace?" She nodded. "I understand your caution. It is wise. But your colony faces challenges that I can help with. I do not ask for trust blindly, only the chance to prove my intentions." The colonists murmured among themselves. Many wanted to welcome her, intrigued by the promise of help. But Arik held them back. "Maintain your positions," he ordered. "Nobody goes near her until we know more." Elara turned her gaze toward the colony's water purification facility, a set of machines that had been struggling to keep up with demand. "I can see that your water supply is failing," she said. "Your filtration system is old and worn. I have technology that can stabilize it, but I need access." Arik frowned. He had suspected that some of the recent malfunctions were linked to environmental stress, but her knowledge of the systems was unsettling. "How do you know about our equipment?" he asked sharply. "From observation," she replied. "I have instruments that scan technology from afar. I did not interfere. I only monitored to understand how I could help." Rhea glanced at Arik. "Sir, maybe we should let her try. The colony is suffering. She might genuinely be offering assistance." Arik clenched his jaw. He hated showing doubt, but he could not ignore the possibility that she might be telling the truth. "Very well," he said reluctantly. "You will accompany our engineers. Any sign of danger, and I take action immediately." Elara inclined her head. "Agreed." The engineers approached, wary but curious. Elara walked beside them, her hands brushing lightly against the machinery as if she could sense its needs. Within minutes, she identified the failing pumps and filters, explaining in simple terms what needed repair. Her knowledge seemed almost magical to the colonists, yet she spoke in a way that anyone could understand. Arik watched from a distance, tension coiling in his chest. He still did not trust her, yet he could not deny the improvement in the system. Water pressure stabilized, and filtration rates increased. The colony would have enough water to survive the coming week, a small but significant victory. Despite the success, Arik's unease did not fade. That night, he patrolled the perimeter with a few trusted guards. The desert was quiet, but shadows seemed to move differently. Every time he glanced toward Alara's temporary quarters near the landing site, he imagined her as a threat, waiting for the right moment to strike. Yet, when he passed by her tent, he saw her not plotting, but assisting the engineers in repairing communication arrays. Her actions contradicted the fears in his mind. He shook his head. "Trust is earned," he muttered to himself, "and I have not earned it from her yet." The next morning, a group of colonists came running to the command center. Excitement and relief painted their faces. "Commander, Commander, you need to see this." Arik followed them to the outer courtyard, where Alara had connected a small device to the colony's solar collectors. Light shimmered across the panels, and the energy output increased dramatically. "I can boost your energy production for the next few cycles," she explained. "It will help keep the colony running while I teach your engineers how to maintain it." Arik studied her closely. She was brilliant, certainly. Her technology could make the colony stronger, safer, and more efficient. But her knowledge of systems he had sworn were secure bothered him. How had she known? Was it coincidence, or had she been watching for longer than she claimed? Rhea placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sir, she's helping. We can see that. Maybe we should give her a chance?" He sighed and nodded reluctantly. "We will give her a chance, but one wrong move, and she will not get a second." Days passed, and Alara's presence began to have a tangible impact on the colony. Machines ran smoother, water flowed more freely, and the colonists slowly started to relax in her presence. Some even approached her, asking questions about the stars, about other planets, about the universe beyond their desert home. She answered patiently, sharing knowledge without arrogance. But Arik remained vigilant. Every time he saw her smile or laugh with the settlers, he reminded himself that appearances could be deceiving. Her intentions might be good, or she could be a cunning predator, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He had learned long ago that trust without proof was dangerous. One evening, as the twin suns set behind the dunes, Arik returned to the observation platform. He gazed at the horizon where Alara's ship gleamed in the fading light. She was tending to the solar arrays, moving with ease and confidence. For a brief moment, he allowed himself to admire her skill, but not her presence. That admiration was dangerous, he told himself. Still, a small voice inside him whispered doubt. What if she truly meant no harm? What if she had come all this way, across the stars, simply to help humans survive? Arik did not like the thought of hope mingled with fear, but he could not ignore it. A soft voice behind him broke his contemplation. "Commander Vale." He turned sharply to see Alara standing there, the wind tugging at her silver hair. "You have been watching me," she said calmly. "I am Commander," he replied curtly. "It is my duty to observe." She smiled faintly, not mockingly, but with a gentle understanding. "And yet you hesitate. You fear what you do not know, I understand. Humans are cautious. It is a strength, not a weakness." Arik studied her, searching for any sign of deceit. He found none, yet his mind raced with possibilities. "Your knowledge of our system, how much of it is observation and how much is more than that?" "Enough to help," she said simply. "Nothing more. I seek only to aid your colony. You do not have to trust me yet, only to allow me to act." Arik swallowed hard. He wanted to believe her, yet experience told him caution was wise. "We will see," he said. "Your actions will speak louder than words." She inclined her head as if accepting a challenge. Actions, yes. Words are easy, but they can mislead. Watch, Commander Vale. Judge by what you see, not by what you fear. As she turned back to the solar arrays, Arik felt a strange mixture of tension and curiosity. She was a mystery, a puzzle he could not yet solve. And in the vast emptiness of Vera, where dangers lurked beneath the sands and in the skies above, mysteries could be deadly, or life-saving. For the first time in many cycles, Arik did not sleep easily that night. He stared at the stars, thinking of the silver-haired stranger who had arrived unannounced, whose intentions were unclear, and whose abilities could change everything for the colony. He did not know whether to fear her or hope, and deep down he realized that perhaps, for the first time, both might be true. The morning sun burned over Vera, painting the desert in brilliant shades of orange and gold. Commander Arik Vale patrolled the colony with Lieutenant Rhea and a small team of guards. Life seemed to be returning to normal after Ilara's arrival, but Arik could not shake a feeling of unease. There was something about her calm presence, her precise knowledge of the colony's systems, that set his mind on edge. It started with small things. Machines that had worked perfectly for years suddenly faltered. Sensors went offline without warning. Communications experienced brief interruptions. At first, Arik thought it was natural wear and tear, common in a harsh desert environment. But when these malfunctions happened in patterns, he began to suspect something or someone was causing them. "Ilara?" Rhea asked quietly as they walked past the water purification facility. "Could she be responsible? Maybe testing the colony?" Arik's jaw tightened. "I don't know yet, but we cannot assume. We need evidence." As they reached the command center, an engineer ran toward them, panicked. "Commander, the transport pod near the northern ridge, it's malfunctioning." A child was inside. Arik's heart raced. Without hesitation, he grabbed his communicator. "Dispatch rescue team immediately. Rhea, you're with me." They sprinted across the hot sand, arriving at the pod just as it began to spark dangerously. Inside, little Jalen, a boy no older than 8 cycles, was trapped. The team worked quickly, but the pod's controls were locked. Ilara appeared from behind the dunes, her silver hair catching the sunlight, and walked calmly toward the pod. "Steps. Back," she said softly. "I can open it." Arik felt a surge of instinctive distrust. "How do I know you're not causing this?" She looked at him with calm, unflinching eyes. "You don't. But you will see my actions, not my words." With a soft hum, her hands hovered over the pod's controls. Light flickered around her fingers and the locked mechanisms clicked open. The pod hissed, releasing Jalen safely. The boy stumbled out and ran to his mother, who cried with relief. Arik stared, both impressed and unsettled. This was impossible," he muttered. "It is not impossible," Ilara said calmly. "It is simply unfamiliar to you." Even as relief spread through the colonists, Arik could not dismiss the unease gnawing at him. Her abilities, her knowledge, they were beyond human technology, and that made him wary. Later in the command center, Arik reviewed the day's reports. Systems had stabilized, but there were strange anomalies in the sensor readings, patterns that did not match natural activity. Shadows moved where none should be. Machines failed, seemingly at random. It was enough to make any experienced commander question what was happening. "Ilara claims she is here to help," Rhea said softly. "And she has helped. But what if she is hiding something?" Arik rubbed his temples. "We cannot ignore the possibility. We need to stay vigilant. Observe. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best." Meanwhile, Ilara worked closely with the engineers, repairing and upgrading the colony's systems. Her technology stabilized energy grids, improved water filtration, and even enhanced communications. The colonists began to trust her, but Arik kept his doubts close, watching her every move. That night, strange sounds echoed across the desert. Low rumbles, almost like the growl of a distant predator, shook the sands beneath their feet. The lights from the colony flickered briefly, causing tension to spike among the settlers. Arik activated the perimeter sensors. Nothing unusual in the immediate area. He reported to Rhea, though his voice lacked confidence. But I want all teams on alert. Do not relax. Even as they patrolled, Arik could not help noticing Alara in the distance, walking calmly, near the energy arrays. She seemed unaffected by the strange vibrations in the ground. It was impossible to read her. Suddenly, the colony's sensors picked up a movement beyond the dunes, something large, fast, and unfamiliar. It disappeared before the drones could get a clear reading. The colonists panicked. Guards scrambled to respond, while Arik gritted his teeth, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. "Alara," he called. "Do you see that?" She tilted her head, studying the shadows carefully. "Yes, it is not a human threat, but it is real. You must prepare your people." Arik frowned. "A threat? What kind of threat?" Before she could answer, the shadows shifted again. The ground trembled. Machines failed simultaneously. Lights flickered, communications dropped, and water pressure fluctuated dangerously. Panic swept through the colony. Arik ran to the control room, watching the monitors. The shadows were not just moving, they seemed almost alive, forming shapes that flickered in and out of visibility. He turned to Alara. "What are these things?" "They are predators," she said simply. "They feed on planets with intelligent life. Your colony is at risk." Arik's eyes widened. "Predators? You mean aliens?" "Yes," she confirmed. "I am here to prevent them from harming you. That is why I arrived. I monitored your systems to understand how to protect you, not to harm you." Relief and frustration collided in Arik's mind. He had feared her, suspected her, even doubted her intentions, but now he realized that the danger he had been worried about was not her. It was something else entirely. "We need a plan," he said. "If these predators come for the colony, we have to be ready." Alara nodded. "I can help, but you must trust my guidance. Your people have courage, intelligence, and resilience. That is your strength. But you will need my technology to survive this threat." Arik hesitated. Trust was not easy for him, not after years of command and battle. Yet the evidence was clear. Alara's knowledge and skills were crucial. "Very well," he said. "We prepare together. But know this, I will be watching. One sign of betrayal, and there will be consequences." She smiled faintly. "I understand. Actions will speak louder than words." Over the next few cycles, Arik and Alara worked side by side, preparing the colony for the unknown predator. They reinforced energy shields, modified defenses, and trained colonists in emergency procedures. Slowly, Arik began to see the truth of her words. Humans were strong, brave, and clever. With her guidance, they could become stronger than even he had imagined. Yet tension remained. Arik could not forget the shadows that had appeared in the desert, nor the strange failures of machines. He patrolled nightly, always on alert, always watching the horizon. He had learned to expect the unexpected, and Vera had already proven dangerous enough without unknown predators arriving. One evening, Rhea approached him as they stood atop the observation platform. "Sir, do you think she is truly here to help? Or is there something we cannot see?" Arik stared at the horizon, where the last rays of sunlight glimmered off the dunes. "I do not know," he admitted. "But I do know this. Humans survive by facing fear, not by hiding from it. And right now we must face it together, whatever it may be." Below, the colony lights flickered in the desert twilight. Machines hummed steadily under Alara's care. Children played near the water tanks, unaware of the danger lurking beyond the dunes. For the first time, Arik allowed himself a small moment of hope. Perhaps with Alara's help they could survive anything. But as darkness settled across Vera, shadows shifted once more beyond the colony's perimeter. Something moved in the night, unseen but watching. The predators were coming, drawn to the life and light of the human colony, and Arik realized with a mix of fear and determination that the true test of courage had only just begun. The morning light stretched across Vera's desert, warming the sands and glinting off the colony's solar arrays. Commander Arik Vale stood in the command center, reviewing the latest sensor reports. Strange readings persisted, shadows moving, across the dunes in patterns that made no sense. The colony was safer thanks to Alara's technology, but the unexplained phenomena kept Arik's nerves taut. Rhea joined him, a tablet in her hand. "Sir, I don't like this. Every night the anomalies get closer. The drones see movement but nothing is clear, and every time we check the sensors, some equipment fails." Arik rubbed his temple. "I know. Something is out there, but I don't know what. We've fortified the colony, yet I can't shake the feeling that we are being watched, studied." Alara entered quietly, her presence calm, yet commanding. "Commander Vale," she said, "I believe it is time you know the full truth." Arik looked at her sharply. "I've been cautious, Alara. Do not mistake my patience for ignorance. What truth are you talking about?" She moved to the central table and projected a hologram of a large, shadowy form hovering over the planet. Its outline was vaguely humanoid but distorted, almost liquid in its movement. "These are the beings you sensed. They are predators from beyond your system. They feed on planets that have intelligent life. Your colony is a target." Arik stared, feeling the weight of her words. "Predators? You mean they will attack and destroy everything?" "Yes," Alara replied. "They have done this before, leaving entire civilizations in ruin. I have been tracking their movements for cycles. I came to your colony because I detected their interest here." Rhea's eyes widened. "And you've been watching us this whole time?" Alara shook her head. "Not to harm you, to understand how best to protect you. I could not reveal everything at first. My technology is unfamiliar, and sudden disclosure could have caused panic or mistrust." Arik's mind raced. He had feared her intentions, imagined hidden agendas, and doubted her from the moment she arrived. Yet now the truth was clear. She had risked her life to help them survive. The mistrust he had carried felt heavy, almost shameful. "Why help us?" he asked quietly. "Why not stay distant?" Alara's silver eyes met his. "Because humans have a quality I admire: courage. Even in the face of danger, you adapt, you learn, and you persevere. I have seen many species. Most do not survive. Threats like this, humans, they have potential, and potential is worth protecting." Arik swallowed hard. "Then what do we do? How can we stop them?" "They are intelligent, but they have weaknesses," Alara explained. She brought up a diagram of the predator species. "They rely on detecting life signals. If we can mask your presence and disrupt their sensors, we can buy time. But alone, your technology is not enough. With my systems, we can create barriers and decoys to protect the colony." Arik nodded, determination rising. "Then we prepare. Whatever it takes." Alara smiled faintly. "Good. Time is short. They will arrive soon." For the next few cycles, the colony worked tirelessly under Arik and Alara's guidance. Shields were reinforced, energy grids modified, and defenses optimized. Alara taught the engineers how to integrate her technology with theirs. Humans learned quickly, and Arik felt pride swelling in his chest. They were resourceful, brave, and adaptable. Yet the nights were restless. Shadows still moved across the dunes, closer each cycle. Arik patrolled relentlessly, determined to ensure no threat reached the colony unobserved. He watched the horizon, as stars sparkled above, each one a distant sun, each one a potential danger or refuge. One evening, as Arik monitored the outer perimeter, a flicker of movement caught his eye. A predator scout had approached the edge of the colony undetected. Its shape shimmered like liquid, and its presence distorted the air around it. The sensors flickered as if struggling to register it. "Alara," Arik called urgently. "It's here, a scout. What do we do?" She moved beside him, her hands hovering over the control panel. "Remain calm. We will use a decoy. Watch closely." A low hum filled the air as she activated a holographic projection, creating multiple copies of the colony's energy and life signals. The scout froze, confused by the illusion. It flickered between targets, unable to determine the real colony before retreating into the darkness. Arik exhaled, a mix of relief and awe washing over him. "You saved them," he said quietly. "No," she replied gently. "You saved them. I only guided. Courage and quick thinking. These are human strengths. My technology amplifies them, but you are the reason the scout withdrew." Arik's pride and respect for her grew, tempered by humility. He had feared her, suspected her, even doubted her completely. And yet now he understood. Her presence had been a gift, not a threat. That night, the colonists gathered in the central plaza. Children played near the fountains, laughter echoing under the twin moons. Arik watched from the observation platform as Alara walked among them, answering questions, teaching young minds about technology and the universe. She moved with grace, yet her focus remained on preparation, never losing sight of the looming threat. Rhea joined him, her voice quiet. "Sir, she's remarkable. I don't know how to feel. Fear? Gratitude? Maybe both?" Arik nodded slowly. "Both. That is natural. She is unlike anyone we have ever known. And yet, she has chosen to fight with us, not against us. That makes her an ally, no matter how strange or unfamiliar she seems." In the early hours of the next cycle, Ilara requested a private audience with Arik. In the command center, she laid out a strategy for the impending attack. Shields would be reinforced, energy grids optimized, and decoys positioned around the perimeter. The humans would be trained to respond to every scenario, guided by her technology. "These predators are relentless," she warned. "They will test your defenses. They will probe your weaknesses. But together, we can survive. The key is trust. Between us and among your people." Arik studied her carefully. Trust was not easy for him. He had faced betrayal and loss before, and his instincts screamed caution. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Her actions had saved lives, her technology had strengthened. The colony and her guidance had prevented disaster. "Very well," he said finally. "We trust your guidance, but make no mistake, we remain vigilant. One lapse and we act to protect our people." Ilara inclined her head. "Agreed. Actions speak louder than words. Watch closely, Commander Vale. Judge by what you see, not by what you fear." Over the next cycles, humans and Ilara worked together seamlessly. Engineers integrated her technology into the colony's systems, creating energy shields that could withstand intense pressure. Sensors were calibrated to detect even the faintest disturbances. Colonists practiced emergency protocols, learning to move quickly and efficiently. Through it all, Arik observed, sometimes silently, sometimes guiding. He saw the courage of humans, men and women who faced fear, yet did not falter. He saw their ingenuity, creating solutions with limited resources, and he saw how Ilara amplified these strengths, turning ordinary humans into a formidable force capable of surviving the unimaginable. One evening, Arik and Ilara stood atop the observation platform, looking at the desert below. Shadows shifted, in the distance signaling the predator's approach. Arik felt a mixture of fear and determination. The danger was real, but so was the strength of his people. "Ilara," he said quietly, "I misjudged you. I feared you were the threat. But now I see the true threat is out there beyond the dunes, and you have helped us prepare. For that I am grateful." She smiled faintly, her silver hair glinting in the moonlight. "Gratitude is not necessary. What matters is that you act with courage. Your fear is natural, but it can be your guide, not your prison. Humans survive not by avoiding danger, but by facing it." Arik nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle firmly on his shoulders. The predators would arrive soon, and the colony's fate rested on their combined courage, ingenuity, and trust. As the night deepened, a distant rumble echoed across the dunes. The predators were near, and Vera's humans, guided by Ilara, were ready to face a test that would challenge everything they knew about survival, courage, and hope. And for the first time, Arik felt a new sense of certainty. With Ilara by their side, they might not only survive, they might triumph. The twin suns of Vera dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the desert. Commander Arik Vale stood atop the observation platform, eyes fixed on the distant dunes. The rumbling had grown stronger with each passing cycle. The predators were close, and the tension in the colony was nearly unbearable. Rhea stood beside him, her expression a mixture of determination and worry. "Sir, the scouts report multiple movements. They're coordinating and closing in fast." Arik nodded, his jaw tight. "All units ready, shields up, energy barriers at maximum output. I want every colonist in a safe zone if the predators breach the perimeter." "And Ilara?" "She's already at the command center coordinating defenses," Rhea replied. "Her technology is integrated with ours. If anyone can help us survive, it's her." Arik allowed himself a brief nod of acknowledgement. The woman he had once feared now held the colony's hope in her hands. Below, the colony hummed with organized activity. Humans worked tirelessly to fortify energy shields, reinforce walls, and set up decoys. Ilara's technology shimmered across the sand, creating protective fields and hidden sensors that made the predator's task more difficult. It was a display of human skill amplified by alien innovation, a perfect partnership. Suddenly, a shadow rose from beyond the dunes. It was immense, taller than any building in the colony, with shifting forms that distorted the air. The ground trembled as smaller scouts flanked the main predator. Lights flickered across the colony as the massive figure advanced, its presence heavy and threatening. Arik drew his breath in sharply. "Positions," he commanded. "Do not fire until they are within range. Focus on defense, not offense. We survive first." The predators tested the shields, sending waves of energy that caused sparks and tremors. Some humans panicked, but others stood firm, remembering Ilara's guidance. She moved swiftly across the control panel, recalibrating shields in real time, redirecting power to weaker points and activating decoys that confused the attackers. One scout broke through the outer perimeter, a shadowy figure moving faster than any human could follow. It approached a storage area where several colonists were working. Arik reacted instantly, drawing a pulse rifle and taking aim. But before he could fire, Ilara appeared, her hands glowing faintly as she extended an energy barrier around the workers. The predator struck, meeting a shield that sent it staggering back. "Commander Vale," Ilara called over the comms. "We need to focus on their central unit. The scouts are distractions. If we disable the main predator's control or energy source, the others will retreat." Arik adjusted his strategy. "Understood. Rhea, take the strike team, target the main unit. Use the decoys Ilara has set up to guide you closer." The humans moved with precision. Guided by Ilara's technology, they navigated the shifting sands and shadows. The main predator loomed like a mountain of darkness, its energy waves disrupting every sensor and machine in the vicinity. But the humans persisted, combining courage with intelligence, their every move amplified by Ilara's guidance. Inside the command center, Ilara worked tirelessly. Her hands hovered over holographic controls, sending energy pulses to the shields, redirecting power to vital systems and projecting illusions to mislead the predators. Her movements were fluid, almost dance-like, yet every action carried immense weight. Arik watched her on the monitors, feeling both awe and reassurance. The woman he had feared was now the linchpin of their survival. Every colonist's life depended on the cooperation between human ingenuity and her advanced knowledge. The strike team reached the main predator's position. Using a combination of decoys and careful timing, they activated disruption devices Ilara had provided. A pulse of energy struck the predator's core, causing it to stagger and roar. The air shimmered as it tried to recalibrate its attacks. "Keep pushing," Arik shouted. "Do not let it recover." The smaller scouts began to falter, confused by the illusions and energy disruptions. Human teams moved quickly, targeting each scout and forcing them back toward the dunes. Sparks and energy arcs lit the desert night as the battle intensified. Despite the chaos, Humans displayed remarkable resilience. Colonists, who had never held a weapon, took positions and followed instructions with precision. Engineers rerouted. Powered as shields, medics moved among the wounded, and Auric coordinated attacks with calm authority. Fear had transformed into focus, uncertainty into strength. Ilara projected a massive energy field around the main predator, restricting its movements. "Commander Vale," she called. "Now, strike together." Auric led a coordinated attack, combining pulse rifles, energy disruptors, and carefully timed charges. The predator roared in fury as the combined force struck its core. Sparks flew, shadows twisted, and the massive form began to collapse. One final pulse from Ilara's technology neutralized the central energy source, causing the remaining scouts to scatter and retreat into the darkness. Silence fell across the desert. The colony remained intact, battered but unbroken. Humans stood amidst the ruins of sand and sparks, breathing heavily yet alive. The predators had been defeated, for now. Auric allowed himself a moment to exhale. His eyes scanned the battlefield, finally resting on Ilara. She stood calm, her hands glowing, faintly as she monitored the residual energy in the area. He walked toward her, his steps slow but steady. "You did it," he said quietly. "We did it. Together." Ilara inclined her head. "No, Commander Vale. You did it. Your people fought bravely. My technology guided you, yes, but courage, quick thinking, and resilience are human qualities. That is why you survived." Auric studied her, realizing the depth of her words. "I feared you, Ilara. I thought you were the threat. But the truth is, you were our greatest ally. Without you, the colony would not have survived." She smiled, faintly, her silver hair shimmering in the desert light. "I understand your caution. Fear is natural, but now you see, strength comes not from avoidance of danger, but from facing it together." The colonists began to gather around, cheering and hugging one another. Children ran freely, unaware of the danger that had almost consumed them. Humans had survived an impossible threat, and in doing so, had proven their courage, adaptability, and intelligence. Rhea approached Auric, her eyes bright. "Sir, they survived. We survived. Thanks to you. And Ilara." Auric nodded. "Yes. But remember, this is only the beginning. The universe is vast. Threats will come again. But tonight, humans have shown that with courage, intelligence, and unity, we can face anything." Ilara joined them, standing among the humans she had helped protect. "I will remain with the colony," she said softly. "Together, we will learn, grow, and prepare. Humans have a potential that is rare, and it deserves protection." Auric felt a surge of gratitude and respect. The woman he had once feared had become a symbol of hope, a guide, and a friend. Her intentions had been pure all along, and her actions had saved countless lives. As the twin moons rose over Vera, casting silver light across the desert, the colony began to rebuild. Machines hummed steadily, water flowed freely, and energy systems stabilized once more. Humans moved with determination, repairing what had been damaged, celebrating what had been survived. Auric walked among the colonists, observing their resilience. He saw men and women working together, children playing, and engineers collaborating with Ilara to improve systems further. Humans had faced a threat beyond their understanding, and they had survived. That night, Auric returned to the observation platform. The desert was calm, shadows retreating into the dunes. He gazed at the stars above, feeling a deep sense of pride. Humans had endured, fought, and triumphed, not alone, but together, guided by courage and wisdom. Ilara joined him silently. For a moment they stood together watching the horizon. "You were right," Auric said softly. "I feared you meant harm, but now, I see your intentions were different, and I am glad you came." She smiled faintly. "Fear is natural, Commander Vale, but hope, courage, and action, These define strength. Humans have all three, in abundance. Arik nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The battle was won, but the lessons remained. Courage, intelligence, and trust were the keys to survival. And with allies like Ilara, humans could face the unknown with confidence, no matter how vast or dangerous the universe became. Above the desert, the twin moons glimmered, reflecting on the energy shields and the repaired colony. Life continued stronger than before, and the humans of Vera had proven that even in the face of unimaginable danger, they could endure and thrive. The twin suns rose slowly over the desert of Vera, casting long golden streaks across the sands. The colony stirred with activity, but this time, the energy was not fear or tension. It was purpose. The humans of Vera had survived the Predator's attack, and now they were rebuilding, stronger and more united than before. Commander Arik Vale walked through the central plaza, observing the colonists as they worked. Engineers repaired damaged equipment, children played near the water tanks, and guards patrolled the perimeter with renewed confidence. There was laughter in the air, mingled with determination. The trials of the past cycles had left scars, but they had also left lessons. Ria approached carrying a data tablet. "Sir, the systems are fully operational again. Ilara's upgrades have been integrated completely. We are safer than ever before." Arik nodded, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Good. But safety is not permanent. We must remain vigilant. Still, I cannot deny that what we achieved is remarkable. The colony survived because humans acted with courage and intelligence, and we had an ally in Ilara." Below, near the energy grids, Ilara moved gracefully, her silver hair catching the sunlight. She worked alongside engineers, teaching them ways to maintain the technology she had brought, improving efficiency and safety. Her presence no longer caused fear. Instead, she inspired respect and admiration. Arik descended to join her. "Ilara," he said, his voice steady, "the colony owes much to you. You risked yourself to save us, and your knowledge has strengthened every system. I misjudged you." Ilara looked up at him, her eyes calm and thoughtful. "Commander Vale, it is natural to misjudge what we do not understand. Fear is human. What matters is how we respond. You chose to act with courage, even while doubting. That is why humans survived." He studied her, reflecting on all that had happened. He had feared her presence, assumed she might be dangerous, and kept his guard up at every turn. Yet her actions had proven the opposite. She had come across the stars not as a threat, but as a guide offering hope and protection. "You have taught us something more than technology," he said quietly. "You have taught us about trust, collaboration, and courage. Humans, we can survive anything when we work together." Ilara smiled faintly. "Yes, humans have a resilience that is rare in the universe. Your ability to adapt, learn, and persevere is extraordinary. That is why I chose to help and why I will stay, to ensure that this potential is realized." As days passed, the colony continued to recover. Children who had once hidden in fear now ran freely across the sands. Engineers improved the energy, shields, and water systems, integrating Ilara's technology with their own knowledge. Guards practiced drills, now confident that they could respond to any threat. The community felt stronger, united not only by survival, but by trust and collaboration. The attack had tested them in ways they never expected, but it had also revealed the depth of human courage and ingenuity. Arik observed the colonists with pride. Humans were capable of incredible things, especially when fear was replaced with action and hope. One evening, Arik gathered the leaders of the colony in the command center. "We have survived a great threat," he began, "but the universe is vast and unpredictable. We must remain vigilant, yet we must also embrace progress. We have an ally in Ilara whose knowledge will guide us, but it is our courage, intelligence, and determination that will define our future." Ilara stood beside him. "Commander Vale is correct. You have faced fear and uncertainty, yet you acted with wisdom and bravery. That is what makes humans strong. My technology is a tool, but the true power lies within each of you. Rhea added, "We have learned that trust is not weakness. Working together, humans and allies can overcome even the greatest dangers." The colonists nodded, understanding the weight of their journey. They had faced shadows, predators, and uncertainty, yet they had endured, and in doing so discovered strength they had not known they possessed. As night fell, the twin moons of Vera rose, casting silver light across the desert. Arik and Alara walked together to the observation platform, overlooking the colony. The lights of the settlement shimmered like stars on the sand, reflecting hope and resilience. "You have changed the colony," Arik said softly, "not only in systems and defenses but in spirit. Humans now understand that even in the face of the unknown, courage and cooperation can overcome fear." Ilara's eyes reflected the moon's glow. "And humans have changed me. Your determination, intelligence, and bravery inspire me. Many species fail in the face of threats, but humans, you rise, adapt, and endure. That is why I stay, to ensure that potential is realized fully." They watched in silence, the desert calm around them, the colony thriving below. It was a quiet moment, yet full of significance. Humans had faced unimaginable danger and emerged stronger. Trust, once difficult to give, had been earned. Courage, once tested, had proven unbreakable. The next cycle, the colonists held a gathering in the central plaza. Children and adults alike celebrated survival and renewal. Songs of triumph echoed across the sands, and laughter replaced the tension that had haunted the colony for so long. Arik addressed the crowd, his voice carrying authority and pride. "We have faced shadows that threatened to end us," he said, "but we survived. Not because of one person, but because of all of us. Each of you acted with courage, intelligence, and determination. And thanks to Alara, whose knowledge guided us, we are stronger than ever before." The colonists cheered. Alara stepped forward, her presence calm and reassuring. "Humans have proven that courage and cooperation are more powerful than fear. Your determination inspires hope not only on Vera, but in the wider universe. Together, humans can face any challenge, any danger, and endure." Arik turned to her. "Ilara, will you stay with us?" She inclined her head. "Yes, there is much to teach and much to learn. The colony's future is bright, and I will help guide it responsibly." Over the following cycles, humans and Alara worked together to improve every aspect of life on Vera. Water systems became more efficient, energy grids stronger, and defenses prepared for any future threats. Humans learned to adapt alien technology responsibly, blending it with their own ingenuity. Every day brought progress, safety, and hope. Arik walked through the colony one evening, observing the interactions between humans and Alara. Children gathered around her, fascinated by her explanations of stars and distant planets. Engineers collaborated eagerly, learning how to maintain advanced systems and integrate them into daily life. Humans had embraced knowledge, courage, and cooperation, transforming the colony into a model of resilience. Rhea approached him, a soft smile on her face. "Sir, we've come so far. We've survived the predators, rebuilt the colony, and learned to work together in ways I never imagined. Humans, we're stronger than I thought." Arik nodded, watching the people around him. "Yes, and it is only the beginning. Vera will thrive not because of one person or even one alien, but because humans are capable of courage, ingenuity, and hope. That is our strength, and nothing can take it from us." The desert wind blew softly, carrying with it the scent of progress and life. For the first time in many cycles, Arik felt a sense of peace. The threats of the universe were still out there, but humans had proven that they could face anything. Fear had been transformed into action, suspicion into trust, and uncertainty into determination. Alara joined him silently. "Commander Vale," she said, "humans are capable of greatness. This colony proves it. I am proud to witness it and to assist in its growth." Arik looked at her, gratitude and respect evident in his eyes. "And I am proud to have learned from you. You came as a stranger, mysterious and unknown, and now you are an ally, a guide, and a friend. The colony owes you much, Alara, and I owe you trust." She smiled faintly. "Trust is earned through actions, Commander, and humans have earned it many times over." Above them, the twin moons of Vera shone brightly, illuminating the desert and the thriving colony below. Life continued stronger than ever. Humans had faced unimaginable threats, learned the value of courage and trust, and discovered that, working together, guided by knowledge and compassion, could turn fear into triumph. Commander Arik Vale looked across the sands, taking in the lights of the colony, the faces of the people he had sworn to protect, and the figure of Alara moving among them. He understood now that humans, united by courage, intelligence, and cooperation, could endure anything. The universe remained vast and unknown, full of challenges and dangers. But Vera's humans were ready. Together, they would face the future, with hope, resilience, and unwavering determination. And with allies like Alara, their potential was limitless. For the first time in cycles, Arik smiled fully, knowing that Vera was not only a place to survive, it was a place to thrive. Humans had proven that even in the darkest shadows, courage, wisdom, and trust could light the way. And so, a new era began.